Comrade Hassan, it's been 5 months since these strikes started. I remember vividly it started as a joke, and here we are 5 months later. What exactly would you say about the end? Do you foresee an end to the whole of the issue?
Obviously, there's nothing that has a beginning that will not have an end. But the major question now is how long would it take before we find an end to incessant strikes and disruption of the public universities in Nigeria? And when you look at the issues that has caused the current strike, it's more or less the same issues that we have been talking about over the past 20 to 30 years. The 2009 agreement, which is the bedrock of the current dispute, has been on for more than a decade now. So that the question now we need to ask ourselves is, why are successive Nigerian governments find it impossible to try and address the issues that ASUU and other university unions have been raising? Interestingly, in 2013, it was the government itself that set up a fact-finding visitation panel to public universities. And through that panel, through that visitation, the government uncovered several problems in the university system, which compelled the government itself to agree with us that there's a need for strategic injection of funds in order to revive the dying public university. And that is what led to the demands that from us, the government should inject funds into university education. But despite that process, which was a process that started from the government itself, successive administration, since the time of Yaradua, have found it impossible to meet up with this periodic and regular injection of funds. Apart from that, the welfare and wages of university staff is one of the worst, not just in Africa, but globally. Nigerian professors are some of the worst paid. The senior staff are some of the worst paid, while the junior staff are the lower rungs of destitution among Nigerian workers and labor force. And these are people who are handling a vital sector of our education system. And yet they are underpaid, they are not given the tools to work with. That is another segment of the current dispute that has led to the current strike. There's the question of the payment system, which the federal government imposed on the university system, the IPPIS. And years after, it has been found that the IPPIS itself is a problem and not a solution to the crisis in the university system.
All right, Comrade Hassan, let me just come in at that point. Comrade Hassan, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but let me just come in at that point, talking about the conflict resolution. Now, we have two parties involved. We have the government, and of course, we have the Nigerian Labour Congress and the ASUU, under the NLC. Now, we know that, like you said, this is something that was implemented at first by the government, but the issue they have now is, the succession is the problem. Now, we know also that ASUU is not asking for too much. What they're asking for is an implementation of a 2009 deal that says that the lecturers should get better pay and, of course, improved working conditions and facilities. Now, so at this point, who exactly should come to, which of the parties should shift ground when it comes to the agreement? Because it looks like the government is finding it very difficult, like you said, for the successive administration. And obviously, the ASUU is not asking for too much. So who should we expect to shift ground at this point?
Obviously, it's the federal government that should shift ground, because the government itself has agreed with ASUU on many occasions that their demands are actually demands that can help the university's education system, to be revived. So we expect the federal government to shift ground. And that is why the pronouncement by President Buhari yesterday is quite heartwarming. That is the pronouncement that the education minister should find a solution to the strike within the next 2 weeks. But the other thing also is that we like to see that this pronouncement is not just a media strategy to make the NSC and other civil society forces to retreat from the planned July 26 and 27 protest, so that we hope that in the next 2 weeks, this pronouncement will actually materialize. And that's why we would like to encourage the NSC not to, subpedal in its preparation for the protest. Because if the threat of a protest has made President Buhari to wake up, then we hope that the protest itself most likely, will ensure that something is actually done.
All right. Convener for Education Rights Campaign, Comrade Hassan Taiwo Soweto, thank you so much for your time.
Thanks for having me.